$0. That's what Blake Lively got. 0. Justin Baldoni's lawyers went on record. She didn't get a single cent. So why is his entire legal team still in court right now, trying to kill a motion that could make every single defendant personally liable for abusing the legal system? That's the question nobody's asking, until now. Before we get into this, I want to know what you think. Did Blake Lively actually win this, or did she walk away with nothing? Drop your answer in the comments right now, and let's see where this community stands. And if this video gave you information that the headlines missed, hit the like button. It takes 1 second, and it helps this channel bring you more stories like this. Here's what you need to know before we go any further. Blake Lively, actress. Known for Gossip Girl, A Simple Favor, and most recently, the film It Ends With Us, a domestic violence drama based on Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel. Justin Baldoni, director and actor. Known for Jane the Virgin and 5 Feet Apart. He directed It Ends With Us. He also starred in it alongside Lively. These two were colleagues, on the same film, on the same set. And in December 2024, Blake Lively filed a federal lawsuit accusing Baldoni of 2 things: sexual harassment on set, and orchestrating a deliberate, coordinated smear campaign against her after she and her husband Ryan Reynolds raised concerns about his conduct during production. Baldoni denied every single allegation. But here's what made this case different from every other Hollywood lawsuit. It wasn't just allegations. Documents came out, internal communications, crisis PR strategies, a so-called multi-tiered plan specifically designed to damage her reputation. Those documents are now public record, and they have already triggered separate lawsuits and investigations beyond this case. That is the foundation of everything that follows. Here we go. Let's go back to where this actually started. May 2023, Hoboken, New Jersey. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are on set filming It Ends With Us, a domestic violence film, a serious film, a film that was supposed to mean something, but behind the cameras, something else was happening. Fast forward to August 2024. The movie premiered in New York City. Both stars show up, smile for the cameras, do the press. But anyone watching closely could see the tension. The interviews were awkward. The promotional appearances were strained. Something was off, and the internet noticed. Then December 2024. No more silence. Blake Lively files a federal lawsuit. She accuses Baldoni of sexual harassment on set. She accuses him and his associates of building what she called, and this is in the legal documents, a multi-tiered plan, a coordinated strategy specifically designed to destroy her public image after she raised concerns about his conduct. Baldoni's team fires back. They filed a $400 million defamation countersuit against Lively. $400 million against the woman who filed against him first. The legal war is now fully open. April 2026. Judge Lewis Lyman starts trimming the case. 10 of Blake's 13 claims get dismissed. Sexual harassment, gone. Defamation, gone. Conspiracy, gone. Baldoni is removed as an individual defendant. On paper, it looks like Baldoni is winning. February 11, 2026. Both sides walk into federal court in Manhattan for a settlement conference. The photos go everywhere. Blake Lively on one side, Justin Baldoni on the other. A trial is scheduled for May 18th, and nobody wants to be in that courtroom. May 4th, 2026. Settlement reached, trial canceled. Both sides release a rare joint statement praising the film and its message about domestic violence survivors. May 7th, 2026. Both legal teams go public with completely opposite versions of what just happened. And May 8th, 2026, Wayfarer's lawyers file a court motion confirming one specific detail that makes headlines everywhere. Blake Lively did not receive a single cent. $0 from a $300 million lawsuit. 0. That's where the story gets interesting. Now here is where every major outlet got lazy. They saw the headline, Blake Lively got $0, and they stopped there. They reported the number and moved on, but read the actual court filings and a completely different picture emerges. Let's start with Baldoni's side. His attorney Brian Friedman went on record May 7th with this statement, and I'm going to give you the exact words because they matter. He said, and I quote, "Let's be clear, this is a win and total victory for the Wayfarer parties. The court had already dismissed 10 of Ms. Lively's 13 claims, including every sexual harassment claim, every defamation claim, and all claims against the individual defendants. Ms. Lively voluntarily dismissed the rest. In our view, they settled because they knew they were going to lose in court. That's a confident statement. That's a lawyer who wants the world to believe his client walked out of this clean. Now here's Blake Lively's side. Her attorneys Michael Gottlieb and Ezra Hudson, also on May 7th, called it a resounding victory. Their words. And then they said something that completely contradicts Friedman's version of events. They said, by agreeing to this settlement and waiving their right to appeal, Justin Baldoni and every individual defendant now face personal liability for abusing the legal system to silence and intimidate Ms. Lively. Read that again. Personal liability. Every individual defendant for abusing the legal system. And a source directly connected to Blake Lively told People magazine this, and Darcher Bar, Armatid Kai. She didn't settle her claims until the documents exposing the bad actors behind smear campaigns were made public, documents that have already led to other lawsuits and investigations. So let's be straight about what actually happened here. Blake Lively did not get $300 million. That is a fact. But she also did not settle on day one. She did not settle when 10 of her claims got dismissed. She settled only after the internal documents, the crisis PR strategies, the smear campaign communications were already in the public record, already unsealed, already out there for the world to see. You cannot put those documents back under seal. They are permanently public. And those documents have already triggered separate investigations and lawsuits beyond this case. So the question is not who got the bigger number. The real question is, what exactly did Justin Baldoni agree to when he signed that settlement? Because buried inside that agreement is something his lawyers are desperately trying to contain right now. And that brings us to the one thing nobody is explaining properly. Here we go. This is the most important section. Every word counts. Code section 47.1. Let's talk about the one thing that has Justin Baldoni's legal team genuinely concerned. California Civil Code section 47.1. You probably haven't heard of it. Most people haven't. But this single law is the reason this case is not over, and it is the reason every defendant in this case agreed to waive their right to appeal. Here is exactly what this law does. California Civil Code section 47.1 was specifically designed to protect people who report sexual harassment, discrimination, or retaliation from being sued back. Not just sued, strategically sued specifically to silence them, to drain their money, to destroy their reputation through the legal system itself. There is a legal term for this. It is called a SLAPP lawsuit. Strategic lawsuit against public participation. You report misconduct. They sue you for $400 million. Not because they expect to win, but because the lawsuit itself is the punishment. Now here is where it connects directly to this case. Justin Baldoni filed a $400 million defamation countersuit against Blake Lively. Along with him, Wayfarer Studios CEO Jamie Heath, publicist Jennifer Abel, financier Steve Sarowitz, crisis PR specialist Melissa Nathan. 6 defendants total. That countersuit has since been dismissed. But Blake Lively's attorneys filed a motion under Section 47.1 back in September 2025, arguing that Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit was not a legitimate legal claim. It was a retaliatory weapon. It was filed specifically to intimidate her and punish her for speaking out. And if Judge Lewis Lyman rules in her favor on that motion, every single one of those defendants does not just lose the argument. They face personal financial liability, not company liability. Personal, individual, each one of them. That is what Baldoni's lawyers are trying to stop right now. On May 8th, the same day they were celebrating their $0 victory in public, they filed a separate court motion arguing that Section 47.1 should not even apply to this case. Their argument: that most of the filming happened in New Jersey, not California. Therefore, California law should not protect Blake Lively. Think about that for a second. They are arguing geography. They are saying, yes, this California law exists to protect people from retaliatory lawsuits, but it should not apply here because the movie was filmed in New Jersey. That is not the argument of a legal team that won. That is the argument of a legal team trying to avoid consequences. And there is one more detail that matters here. As part of the settlement, Baldoni and every individual defendant waived their right to appeal. That means whatever Judge Lyman decides on this Section 47.1 motion, they cannot challenge it in a higher court. They accepted that condition when they signed the settlement. The judge has not ruled yet. As of May 20th, 2026, this motion is still pending. Judge Lyman last week indicated he does not need additional briefing at this time, which means a ruling could come at any point. And when it does, it will determine whether Justin Baldoni and 5 other individuals are personally held liable for using a $400 million lawsuit as a weapon against a woman who reported misconduct. That is what is actually at stake. Not $300 million. Not $0. So where does this actually stand right now? As of today, May 20th, 2026, Judge Louis Lyman has not ruled on the Section 47.1 motion. No decision, no timeline, no announcement. Last week he indicated he does not need additional briefing. That means the arguments are already in front of him. Both sides have made their case in writing. Now it is simply a matter of when he decides. Blake Lively's team says this motion is groundbreaking, that it breathes life into a statute specifically designed to protect survivors from retaliatory lawsuits, that it matters beyond this case, beyond these 2 people, because the outcome sets a precedent for how the legal system handles situations where powerful people use lawsuits as weapons against those who speak out. Baldoni's team says the motion is narrow, that it is a leftover issue, that California law does not even apply here because the film was shot in New Jersey, that there is nothing left to decide. 1 judge, 1 pending motion, 2 completely opposite positions, and 6 defendants, including Justin Baldoni personally, who have already waived their right to appeal whatever comes next. There is no trial date. There is no scheduled hearing. There is just a ruling that has not come yet, and when it does, it will either close this case completely or expose every individual defendant to personal financial liability. That is where this stands. Right now. Today. Blake Lively walked away from this settlement with $0. That is a fact. Baldoni's lawyers confirmed it. The court documents confirm it. But she also walked away with something that cannot be measured in dollars. Every document exposing the smear campaign, public. Permanently. Already triggering separate investigations and lawsuits. Already in the public record forever. Every defendant, including Justin Baldoni personally, has waived their right to appeal. Whatever comes next, they cannot run from it. And 1 judge still has an open motion sitting on his desk, a motion that could make every single one of them personally liable for weaponizing the legal system against a woman who reported misconduct. So did Blake Lively win or lose? That depends entirely on what you think this case was actually about. If it was about money, she got nothing. If it was about exposure, those documents are public and they are not going anywhere. If it was about accountability, that answer is still coming. And it is coming from a federal judge with no deadline. This case is not over. The headlines said it was. The headlines were wrong. Now you tell me. Drop it in the comments right now. Did Blake Lively actually win this, or did she walk away with nothing? Because based on everything you just heard, I think you already know the answer. If this video gave you the full picture that every other outlet missed, hit the like button. And if you want to be here when Judge Lyman finally rules on this motion, and trust me, that ruling is going to make news, subscribe right now. Hit the bell, because that story is coming. And we will cover it the same way we covered this one. No spin. Just facts. Ornosaurus stuffed and die, dour core.